is ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day.
Week 0 of the college football season is upon us, which means it's officially football season. And this is the ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day preseason special, live from the Hard Rock Casino Rockford, alongside Pablo Iglesias, host of The Jump Around, ESPN Madison's Badgers dedicated digital show every Thursday on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel and all of our digital platforms, and Adam Mertz, longtime host of ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day. My name is Jesse Nelson, and it's time to kick off the college football season. No better way to do it, fellas, than at Hard Rock Casino Rockford, where we have now taken center stage as we prepare for games today, and more importantly, Wisconsin football Thursday night against Miami, Ohio. Thanks for making the trip down with me here to Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Mertzy, have they ever had a setup like this for us on ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day?
I mean, I feel a little bit like royalty here today up on the stage in a place that celebrates a lot of royalty in the music world. We got Cheap Trick, calling Rockford home, and we got a drum set behind us. I don't know, Pablo, are you going to get on the sticks?
Oh, you missed it. I already did.
Oh,
I had the bass drum ready to go, and then I was told that I needed to get away from the drum set.
Well, it's not ours to play with.
That's
in
also
fairness.
true. I am a musician though. I'm not a drummer, but I did play guitar. I've been in bands before, so I have some musical talent.
So we've got a guitar player. I can do the keyboard. Mertzy, can you play the drums?
I am no Bunny Carlos.
All right. Well, if we can rope one more in here, we might be able to do a
saxophone.
There we
live
go.
show at the end.
I like
Perfect.
this.
All right.
I like this.
The College Game Day. Maybe Brad Nortman, when he joins us on Thursday, could
go.
handle the drums or give us a little beat. So hopefully we get to hear from Brad Nortman and a bunch of other Badgers guests that joined us all off season long. By the way, Brad Nortman is still down with throat surgery. He will be good to go on Thursday night. He's had a great recovery from his
the
big
official
surgery.
injury report?
Vocal cord surgery he had. He is on the injury report. He is probable for Thursday's ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day pregame show live from Regent Street as we get ready for Wisconsin and Miami, Ohio. Until then, we have Pablo Iglesias filling in for
Hey,
Brad. So,
all right. Well,
you're good too.
Well, thank you. That's you gave me really set the stage for me there.
So complimentary.
I thought I came into this. It was like, hey, try to fill the role that Brad Nortman had said, but no, our new content manager Ashton Rothman said, no, be you. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be me. We're going to be on the stage. There are bright lights coming down on us at the Hard Rock Rockford stage. So I'm going to keep my sunglasses on. We'll get our video stream up ready to go on the YouTube side. But for now, I'll rock the sunglasses on the stage. It's full rock star, if anything. Nothing better than me rocking the sunnies on a Saturday morning at the casino, baby. I love it. That's the vibe we're going to bring.
Sounds like you had a big Friday night is what happened.
A lot of preps. A lot of preps action.
Big night last night.
Big night.
Big opening week of high school football on the ESPN Madison YouTube channels, and, of course, a big day opening college football today, week 0. The season kicks off at 11 a.m., less than an hour from now in Ireland. Kansas State and Iowa State, which is a sneaky, really good game.
Absolutely.
To kick off the season. Yeah, 2 top 25 teams going at it in Dublin to kick off the college football season. One of 5 FBS games on the slate today. We got Stanford, Hawaii at 6:30 tonight. Fresno State and Lance Leipold's Kansas Jayhawks at 5:30. I'm sure we'll talk about the Week 0 matchups as we get into the show. But, of course, we are here to preview the Wisconsin Badgers 2025 season. Coming off a season missing out on a bowl game for the first time in forever. Morale, I'm not sure, has ever been lower in my lifetime for a Wisconsin football season. I was born the year after Barry Alvarez took over as the head coach of the program. And so trajectory has been consistently up until now. missing out on a bowl game, finishing 5-7, not coming away last season with any big wins against Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska, staying competitive in some of their big primetime matchups against some of the top-ranked teams in the country, but not finding a signature win. And that's the storyline heading into the 2025 season. Can Luke Fickell prove it this season? That's the message that we've heard from many of the national pundits, and locally, honestly, we've heard a lot of the same things. This is a big prove-it season for Fickell, for Chris McIntosh, the athletic director, and for a number of the players on this roster. Adam Mertz, here's the question I want to ask you to start our show today here at Hard Rock Casino Rockford. It's the same question I asked Barry Alvarez to start the Barry Alvarez show the other day. No pressure.
Yeah, right.
What's the emotion you feel heading into this Badgers college football season?
So I was going to offer a countering opinion to your statement that morale has never been lower. My morale was not good last year. I did not feel very confident about where things were headed. I look at the roster that they brought together this year, a lot loaded back up through the portal. I would go back to a song title from the 70s, it's like Pablo's era. Carly Simon, Anticipation. I'm actually really excited to see the product that gets put on the field this year. They've significantly upgraded the roster. I'm excited about the direction they're taking offensively. I want to see these guys compete this year. I don't know what that's going to translate to for wins, but I think you're going to get a lot more competitive and consistent product.
So anticipation is the word that comes to mind for you to start this Wisconsin Badgers season on Thursday night against Miami, Ohio. Pablo, what's the word for you?
It's a safe one. I'll go with two to cheat a little bit here. Cautiously optimistic. It's a safe one, but I think that a lot of people are writing this team off a lot sooner than they should be. Yes, there are still things that they have to prove, come into with. The transfers need to work out. The guys who are multi-year starters need to prove that they are worthy and they can lead this team into a better situation than they were last year. Let's be real, a 5-2 record, and then you end the season on a 5-game slide. If anything, for me, I don't know if morale was low for me to start the season, but I think we can all agree that you don't want to end a season on a 5-game slide, end that bowl streak. But I come into this season being around practice, being around the guys. They are definitely saying the right things. It feels like that they're hanging out around each other a lot more. So the morale from that standpoint, the locker room vibe, feels like guys are buying in across the board. Feels like, too, that the offense, too, really just loves being around Jeff Grimes, and Jeff Grimes loves being around different position groups. Now, how that's all going to come to play when it actually comes time to play on the field, we'll see. But I'm going with cautiously optimistic. It's a safe one, like I said, but it's because I do believe in this team a lot more than people are saying from the national side, from the local side, and even, honestly, too, probably, let's be real, the fan apathy. Jesse, you mentioned it, too, is that fans right now, it feels like I don't even know if it's a 50-50. Right now it feels like a much more of a closer to where fans are just not completely bought in. They're questioning Luke Fickell, and I think it's good to hear a lot more from former Badger football players as well that are supporting Luke Fickell. There's a lot of backing. I know Barry had said something, too, on the Barry Alvarez show when we kicked off. We'll get into that, I'm sure, a little later. But he's getting the right support, which is good. So I'm cautiously optimistic going into this Badger season because there's something there. And like I've said, I don't think we should be writing this team off as soon as we already have been.
So cautiously optimistic for Pablo Iglesias, anticipation for Adam Mertz. I'm going to echo what Barry Alvarez said with my answer, which is anxious. I'm anxious to see what happens this season. I don't know if I can say I'm optimistic the same way that you are, Pablo. I know you're a good vibes guy. I'm not so much.
I try.
I saw what happened last year, and I wanted last year. I said, I don't care if they only win 5. Just get a signature victory. Show me one game that proves that Luke Fickell has this program trending in the right direction. Show us that it's coming together. Show us what is possible for the years to come. And we didn't see any of that last year. The best game we saw was 3 quarters against Oregon on a Saturday night in November at Camp Randall Stadium. And that was fun for 3 quarters, but they didn't get the job done. They fought Penn State. They fought Ohio State over the last couple of years, but they couldn't get the job done. What's the best win of the Luke Fickell era? On the road against Illinois a couple of years ago?
That's the one that comes to mind for me.
I mean, it's been There hasn't been a moment in 2 seasons that we've been able to say this is what we can hang our hat on as Wisconsin football fans. I mean, the ReliaQuest Bowl might be one of the best performances, and that was a bunch of guys that had already transferred out of the program. We didn't know what that was looking like against LSU a couple of years, and they lost the game.
And they lost.
So if we're saying that 2 of the best games that we've seen in the Luke Fickell era are Oregon and LSU, both that were losses, we need to start seeing some results this season. Now, I do think, and I've echoed this all offseason long, I think Luke Fickell has played the get-out-of-jail-free card in saying that the offense scheme that they tried to bring in with Phil Longo for the first 2 seasons was obviously a mistake. And so we're resetting that. We're bringing in Jeff Grimes to run the ball effectively, to beef up that offensive line. That defensive line has done much of the same this year, trying to you could see that the size was a problem the last couple of seasons.
Yes.
So they've addressed some of those things, and I think that's okay, I still think Luke Fickell's a good coach. I think a lot of people in charge of this program think Luke Fickell's going to be a good coach. He has been a good coach in Division I college football. So what it comes down to is this a case of good coach, wrong place, or was it good coach, wrong scheme with the offensive coordinator, and will Jeff Grimes be able to get this thing back on track this year, Mertzy?
Yeah, and I'm not going to sit here and defend the air raid, but what I will say is that more than the scheme, I feel like the fit with Phil Longo and their lack of partnership on what they wanted to accomplish was the thing that stood out to me. Phil Longo has had a lot of success in his career at different stops. I didn't get what he was trying to accomplish out there. And I'm talking about some of the personnel that he was using. I'm talking about his flow of an offense within a game, his situational awareness. I'm thinking back to that Rutgers game, which is another highlight, right, from last year. And at the end of the first half, you got Fickell running down the sideline like, hey, call timeout. What are you doing on clock management? They were just not on the same page and the same wavelength. So I think that was a major problem for this program. I also think that the talent drop-off at the end of the Paul Chryst era is really understated. And the fact that when you're going to have that churn through any coaching change, you're going to have guys like a Chimera DK that disappear and go for other opportunities, someone who's a really valuable player. So, there's this natural turbulence and transition that they didn't manage well either. So there's, everything did not go well, including losing your starting quarterback both years and having to see Braden Locke bounce balls off the back of his lineman's helmet for 2 years.
Pablo, what do you think of the scheme and what this could mean for Luke Fickell's job security this season and moving forward?
So there's 2 things that I want to add to what you said. I think it's right coach, wrong scheme, how it was with Luke Fickell, or with Phil Longo rather. But also you want to add that right roster foundation and also transitional era too. We have to address the elephant in the room that it is the NIL era. It is a strange, unique situation when Luke Fickell came in. It's a transfer portal era. It's working around NIL. And that goes into roster foundation too. This, at least for me, feels like the first season where it's truly Luke Fickell's roster. It's more guys that he's recruited that are coming in and starting roles. And again, it's that drop-off that Mertz was mentioning, and probably a little bit of back and forth. We talked about this on the jump around. There were probably some guys, I wouldn't be surprised if there were some guys, unfortunately, in their feelings that stuck around during the Luke Fickell era, that wanted Jim Leonard or wanted Paul Chryst to stick around, tried to stick it out and saw what happened, and maybe that just causes for a little bit of back and forth where some guys are bought in, you have some groups that are 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and again, as the transfer portal era just continues and we still navigate through all this, there are a lot of question marks still. So how Wisconsin can succeed in that, I think that's more of a long-term thing where we had Jesse Temple, too, on the jump around, which you can go back and hear on the ESPN Wisconsin app and also stream on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. And Jim Polzien had said that he's giving Luke Fickell a 4th year no matter what. You have to give a coach, at least in his eyes, 4 seasons to really see what what they can do from a scheme, to see how they can build a culture, to see how they can transform a program. And I think that's fair. I think that's truly fair.
You think that's still true in today's college football, even though players oftentimes aren't at a school for 4 seasons?
I do, and there's the big reason they get cited is his $27 million buyout after this year.
That is a hefty chunk of change.
Versus 21 next year. It goes all the way down to $21 million after next year, so quite a bargain.
Yeah,
but
right.
To me it goes back to what we're talking about this transition. So what are you going to do? You're going to bring in another coach and another system and think that things are going to magically be better? That will mean you've gone through this period where just spinning. You're just spinning on coaches and getting no traction. I think that you made an investment. You made a big investment in Luke Fickell. You made a hard decision to not give it to the local guy who a lot of people were rooting for. Like, you owe it to yourself in the program to ride this thing a little bit longer.
We're going to talk about Luke Fickell's job status, and we're going to hear from somebody who has been involved in making a lot of those big-time decisions over his career. Barry Alvarez's thoughts on the state of the program under Luke Fickell. We're going to hear from Brad Nortman, Melvin Gordon, a bunch of other special Badgers guests that have joined us all off-season long, including some of the current players potentially we'll hear from as well as we continue this preseason special. ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day. It is week 0 of the college football season. I love week 0. I'm so happy.
Are you rubbing that in on Strofe right now?
Yes.
What's going
week
on?
0 is the best. We've got 5 random games that you wouldn't care about any other college football Saturday.
That's what makes it the best.
But today, Stanford, Hawaii reigns supreme in the prime time. So can't wait to watch that one tonight. It's back, baby. College football, the 2025 season is underway. And, of course, Labor Day weekend is where it really kicks in, starting Thursday night at Camp Randall Stadium with Wisconsin and Miami, Ohio. An 8 o'clock kick under the lights in downtown Madison. We'll talk plenty more to get you set for the Wisconsin Badgers season straight ahead on the ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day preseason special.
The countdown to kickoff continues next. You're listening to ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day. Breaking news on ESPN Madison is presented by Metro Ford and Metro Kia of Madison. Find the Metro family of auto dealers online or see them in person on the east side of Madison today.
GRB Academy is baseball for the serious player. Over the past 15 years, GRB has been Wisconsin's top destination for player development and advancement, including over 468 college commitments and 27 MLB draft picks. Their facility in Windsor is the home of GRB Rays baseball and features over 52,000 square feet of elite baseball training. Tryouts for the 2026 summer season begin July 22nd. Find full training programs and register now at grbacademy.com.
Hey, this is Jeff Levering with the Brewers Radio Network, and I've got a question for you. Is your home ready to shine this season? Whether it's roofing, siding, or windows, Ridgetop Exteriors is the name you can trust. For over 20 years, Ridgetop Exteriors has been Wisconsin's favorite for roofing, and they bring that same expertise to siding and windows. Imagine vibrant, low-maintenance siding and energy-efficient windows that brighten your home while cutting energy costs. Ridgetop Exteriors holds all expert-level installation credentials with the leading manufacturers, including Pella, James Hardy Fiber Cement Siding, and LP SmartSide Engineered Wood Siding. With thousands of 5-star reviews and a commitment to excellence, they're the clear choice for home improvement needs. Plus, consultations and estimates are always free, so there's no reason to wait. Call Ridgetop Exteriors today or visit ridgetopexteriors.com to schedule your free consultation. Ridgetop Exteriors, putting customers first every time.
Ridgetop Exteriors is the place for you.
Get ready to say goodbye to those bland seltzers at the ballpark. Carbless is proudly Wisconsin-born, crafted by real people. A husband and wife team who wanted better cocktails in a can. They're locally made and blissfully better. Carbless offers a bold, true cocktail flavor that's made for baseball fans. Available in fan-favorite flavors like lemon lime, black raspberry, cranberry, and mango, bringing the craft cocktail bar to your seat. Refreshment that matches the energy of American Family Field is Carbless. Full of flavor, no sugar, and no carbs. Just game day bliss.
The roll screen, the ability to roll a window screen up and down like a shade. Pella invested in this breakthrough when the business was born and has introduced the world to innovative, game-changing designs ever since. Hi, I'm Gina Della from Pella. Our incredible craftsmen have always been driven by the principles of traditional American values and the desire to enrich the homes and lives of others. They've been at it for a century. When you want long-lasting comfort and reliability, we make it easy for you to trust Pella. Every piece is specifically constructed for you and your home. Pella always designs with innovation and rigorously tests each product for quality and performance. Our team takes pride in constructing quality windows and doors with meticulous attention to every detail. Investing in new Pella windows and doors creates long-term energy savings and durability that lasts for years. And if you order by August 31st, get 0% interest for up to 5 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
This is our crew.
The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
Every pitch, every strike, every hit.
Breaking ball. Hit high. Hit deep. Left center. Bye-bye baseball.
Hear the call of every Milwaukee Brewers game this season on 100.5 ESPN.
Mizorowski deals. Struck him out. A heater at 101.
You're listening to Madison's new home for Milwaukee Brewers baseball, 100.5 ESPN.
Join the Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock, for Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Get the information you need as you plan for retirement. That's Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Investment advisory services offer the Retirement Income Strategies, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
We're on the Packers.
This is an enormous season
because we're on Wisconsin sports.
And it's not just for Jordan Love.
Nobody covers the green and gold like 100.5 ESPN.
You want this, you got that. Don't wait, watch them walk right past you. Run fast while you have the chance. Don't speak, let them look right at you. Run back while you have the chance.
Live from Hard Rock Casino Rockford, the ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day preseason special, brewed by Coors Light. Jesse Delson, Pablo Iglesias, and Adam Mertz getting you set for the 2025 Wisconsin Badgers football season. It kicks off Thursday night, 8 p.m. at Camp Randall Stadium against the Miami, Ohio Redhawks. Pregame coverage does start live from Regent Street at 6 o'clock and maybe even a little bit earlier. I think our Jim, Matt, and Molly crew will be out on site as well for ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day. A little extra time to get the party started for the Thursday night kickoff of the 2025 season.
Don't forget the Jump Around 2 Thursday. We will be streaming the episode on Thursday as well. So don't know if we'll be on site, but don't worry. We will have Jump Around Week 1 stuff on Thursday at 12:30.
Every Thursday at 12:30 on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. And also, before we get to Barry Alvarez, I do want to remind you that you can tune in after every Wisconsin Badgers football game this season for the ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day post-game show brewed by Coors Light. Last year, a lot of Coors Lights were consumed not in a celebratory fashion on that post-game show. Hopefully, our hosts this year, Corey Sparks, and today's producer back in the Everlight Solar studio, Riley Yauk, will have a few more in celebration of victory. Riley, good morning, and looking forward to hearing you and Corey Sparks on the postgame show this season.
Yeah, good morning, guys. I'm fired up. At the opportunity to get to host the post-game show. That's going to be awesome. Corey Sparks is an elite host. We're going to have a blast, and I'm confident. You guys were talking about words to describe your emotions going into this season. Let's hyphenate this one. I'm fired up. I think this is going to be an amazing season with this schedule. There's so many opportunities for just big moments. Like, we haven't had a big moment for Wisconsin football in so long, and I feel like we got to get at least one this season. So I'm ready to go. It's going to be a great season.
Yeah, we did say the same thing last year, Riley, so I don't want to burst your bubble here before we even kick off.
It's going to
happen,
happen, though.
It's going to happen.
It's different.
Sure. Okay. Well, we will see if that's the case.
Vibes are high, Jesse. Come on. Don't do
for
this.
For some of us, they are.
Vibes are high. We're here at the Hard Rock. Our big old faces are behind us. Come on.
This is pretty great.
This is pretty great. Vibes are high. This is how you start off the season on a high note, Jesse. It's only going up from here.
I can tell you this. I did see 5.5 wins set as the over-under for the season, and I'm
so hammer the over.
The biggest lock.
Hammer the over.
Skeptical on the over. Right.
Easiest lock of all time.
Really?
That's free money. That's free money.
Uh-huh. All right. Well, I smell a poll question coming our way here pretty soon on our preseason special. Let's hear what Barry Alvarez says before I make an official judgment on how my vibe should be feeling here for the college football season. Earlier this week, we did kick off the Barry Alvarez show on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel every Monday night at 6 o'clock, and you can also catch it on 100.5 ESPN Madison. Here is what Barry Alvarez said about Luke Fickell and his job status as he enters year 3 in what many consider to be a prove-it season for the Wisconsin Badgers head coach.
Well, I think we have the right person in charge. You know, I think Luke understands the Big Ten. He knows how to win. I think he has his feet on the ground. Wisconsin's a difficult place. I mean, you have to understand this place as far as where to recruit, where, you know, with the type of players that fit here, the type of football that can win here. I really think that he is grounded. He's the right guy to be here. So I really feel good about that. You know, I like the players in the program. I like the attitude. So, you know, I'm really anxious to I'm always anxious to get the season started, but really anxious to watch this team play.
Adam Mertz, you hear Barry Alvarez speak there. When he speaks, we listen. And he is anxious to get the season started. But he does seem to give a vote of confidence there for Coach Fickell and this staff, feeling like they're going to figure this thing out and they'll be better prepared here for the 2025 season. What stands out to you from that commentary?
So, as a born skeptic and a former newspaper reporter, when you hear the vote of confidence, that's usually like the last piece before you pull the rug out from underneath someone. I don't think that's the case here. Barry is a straight shooter. He'll give you different degrees of support. But that's a pretty strong endorsement, what he had there. There was a lot of nuance to that about confidence in his knowledge and the approach that he has and where the mood of the program's at this point. I think Barry understands. Barry, I was here. That was my first 4 years in college, was Barry's first 4 years. I had a couple of roommates who were walk-ons with that team. I got to hear that progression of that program and kind of the weeding out of the Don Morton era guys and the change in the culture and the change in philosophy. It's not easy. I don't care where you come in or as a coach or where that program was at. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. So I think that I take it at his word. He thinks that Luke Fickell can get the job done here.
Pablo?
I'm behind it. I'm with the Don on this one. I looked this up, too, because if there's anybody who knows that, and yes, it is a different era to put that out there, but as he said, Wisconsin is a hard place. In the first 3 seasons, looking at Barry Alvarez's record, his first season, I know we talk about all the prominence and all the success, but we also have to look at how it started. It wasn't just that he transformed it overnight. He was 1-10 the first season, 5-6 in the second 2, and then that's when it turned around in year 4 with the Rose Bowl season and a 10-1 year. We have to look at that from the big picture because even though, again, it's an NIL, it's a transfer portal era, it's different of what college football is today, that same essence still of building a culture, that still feels like it's the same thing. It takes time. It's not going to be this overnight thing. We have seen this these situations where coaches come in. We look at Kirk Cignetti and what he did with Indiana. Yes, but a lot of those guys know who he was. So in a way, is that kind of how he brought over the James Madison culture and brought over what his culture is into Indiana football? I mean, there has to be something that you got to think about from there. So I'm not saying that Luke Fickell is
or is it
over
just because they played Virginia and Old Dominion as their non-conference
That's
instead of
also
Alabama.
True. And then we saw what happened when they went to Notre Dame and what happened in the opening round there.
So they were in the playoff and we weren't.
So I mean, we could be looking at that at surface level too. Even though they made the college football playoff appearance, it's you know, just because they're in it, is that the big deal, or is it more of like their prominence and their success from there? So I guess going back to that and defending Barry, he knows, if anything, he knows what it takes to build a culture. He knows what it takes to get to that high level.
Yeah, and you know, things they have just not broken well for Luke Fickell these first couple of years. And I think we're going back, I thought about the movie Hoosiers, this classic sports movie. Oh. A line that always stuck with me, Myrtle Fleener, do you remember Myra's mom, that kind of like ingratiated Coach Dale into the community when things were wrong. Said about the sun doesn't shine on the same dog's backside every day, but mister, you hadn't had a lick of sunshine since you got here. And that's what it feels for Luke Fickell. It just seems like nothing has gone quite right. You talk about that signature win, Penn State, pick 6 from Braden Locke after you've knocked Drew Aller out of the game. Like everything's going your way. Oregon, jump around. Everyone's going out of their brains. 4th and 9 for Oregon at midfield. They don't get it. The game's, I'm not going to say it's over, but the Ducks are up against the wall. They get it. They go on to win. Like little things that could push you over the top just have not happened. I want to see this team learn how to win this year. I don't think they were ready to win last year, as the USC game showed. But can Luke be that guy who sort of grounds them again in what they're trying to accomplish here? It's on him big time this year to have this team ready to be in that position to take advantage of those opportunities.
Since you brought up the pick 6, Mertzy, this is a stat that I'm definitely going to refer to a number of times this season. So we see Billy Edwards comes in as the transfer starting quarterback from Maryland, played in the Big Ten last season. I like what he brings to the table. Yep. He's a little more versatile than a couple of the past quarterbacks that have come into town under Luke Fickell. But listen to this stat. 2 seasons that Luke Fickell's been in Madison. You talk about things not breaking his way. First season, Tanner Mordecai was supposed to be QB1, and he was for maybe half the games. Last year, Tyler Van Dyke, the transfer from Miami, 5th-year starter, was supposed to be the starting quarterback for the majority of the season. Luke Fickell's record at Wisconsin, when he has QB1 starting a game is 8-2.
Interesting.
Games that
I wouldn't have calculated it being that high.
Games that QB1 starts and plays the majority of, because I should factor this in.
Yeah.
Van Dyke got hurt in the first quarter against Alabama. Mordecai got hurt in the first quarter against Iowa.
Right.
And so in those games, they're 0-2. They lost both of those. Luke Fickell's record as the head coach when Braden Locke started games as the backup quarterback, but I think any quarterback you could put in there. It doesn't necessarily just have to be pointing at Braden Locke. I don't want to do that. 4-10.
Yeah.
Look at NFL teams and how you would measure a head coach's success based on, if Jordan Love is injured for the majority of back-to-back seasons, how would we judge Matt LaFleur? How would the New York Jets be judged for Robert Saleh if Aaron Rodgers is supposed to be his quarterback and then he misses the entire season? So I do think that we should consider that when we talk about Luke Fickell's success at Wisconsin over the last couple of seasons, is that more than half the games have been started by a quarterback that he didn't necessarily want to play as QB1. And so that is a significant metric that shouldn't be forgotten when we talk about the lack of success over the last couple of seasons for this offense and for this program.
Yeah, I think from what it looks like for me, too, is just seeing how Phil Longo's offense operated the first two seasons. It felt like that, once it was almost built around like the person. It felt like it was built around Tyler Van Dyke. Felt like the offense was built around Tanner Mordecai. And once that drop-off was there, Phil Longo still gave Braden Locke a lot of high praise, but it felt like that, again, it was just that drop-off. It wasn't that it was truly built around his skill set. It was kind of figure out as you go, and we saw it last season where it just did not click. It just wasn't there. And I think it's that's where I'm confident, and again, going back to the cautiously optimistic, seeing what Jeff Grimes can do, seeing, again, as Phil, or rather, as Luke Fickell has said, Billy Edwards is QB1. We came into the last two camps saying whether or not it was going to be Van Dyke, is it going to be Locke, is it going to be Mordecai, is it going to be Locke as well. But knowing who your established QB1, that's a big positive. But building around, I think, from that depth, I think that's where I could see Jeff Grimes succeeding a little bit more and working around. Because, honestly, even in fall camp, too, it wasn't a massive injury, but Billy Edwards did have to take some time out. He got dinged up in the leg, had to limit his reps in the second week, I believe, of fall camp when they were back in Madison. So that gave Danny O'Neal a chance to run with the ones a little bit. It wasn't a perfect situation, but he did look pretty solid. He did look good. So, again, you don't want to prepare for you do want to prepare for that situation, but you do want to know, going back to that stat, though, that it is interesting to know.
8-2 and 4-10.
That's big.
In fairness, let's factor in, the 8-2 when he's playing with QB1. Those games are against South Dakota and Western Michigan, although those were slug matches.
Right.
Yeah. So, and it just so happens Braden Locke has started against Oregon and Ohio State and Penn State. Yeah. And so let's factor that in. Let's be fair that, that's not entirely on Braden Locke. The level of competition was different. But nonetheless, the numbers are what they are. They win the majority of the games when QB1 starts. They don't when it's the backup. I think that's something to keep an eye on, and hopefully Billy Edwards plays the entire season this year healthy so that we can talk fairly about what Luke Fickell and Jeff Grimes' offense looks like with that guy leading the way. We'll talk more about Billy Edwards. We'll talk more about this offense coming up. Mertz, you brought up a very interesting stat. So did you, Pablo, about some past seasons of Wisconsin football. Well, so did our College Game Day pregame host Brad Nortman a couple of weeks ago before they took his vocal cords out, and he's going to sound like Morgan Freeman when he comes back with us on Thursday night.
Smooth on the pregame.
I'm going to play that for you coming up, and we're going to share your thoughts on what past Wisconsin football season this year could most resemble. And we'll do that coming up next, live from the Hard Rock Casino Rockford. It's the ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day preseason special on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
The countdown to kickoff continues next. You're listening to ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day.
Greg Scalzi here for Total Athlete Performance. They're here to provide elite performance training for serious athletes in the Madison area. And there's a new Verona TAP facility open inside of the Verona Athletic Center. Summer speed, agility, and semi-private options are now available at both Verona and Windsor locations, and now offering monthly subscription payment options. Plus, you can download the new Total Athlete Performance app for remote training options all year round. Visit tapwisconsin.com. That's tapwisconsin.com.
Jim Rutledge here. It's officially camping season, which means I will be using my big blue truck from Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb. You're only minutes away from a better buying experience at Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb. What does that mean? It means it's a customized buying experience. If you're an expert and you know what you want, they're happy to let you take the lead. And if you have a ton of questions, Aaron, Tyler, and the whole team at Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb will make sure they can answer them all. You're only minutes away from a better buying experience at Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb.
Baseball is back. Brian Balaga here to bring you a proud partner of the Milwaukee Brewers. Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. A delicious and perfect pairing for a day at the ballpark. Stocked at American Family Field all season long. Surfside is only 100 calories per serving, and the best part, 0 bubbles. Ask for it at your local bar or liquor store. Surfside, an official partner of the Milwaukee Brewers. Must be 21 years of age. Please drink responsibly.
Zimbrick Honda and ESPN Madison present the Game Changers of the Month, recognizing those in area sports who make a positive impact in their community. Here's Pablo Iglesias with Zimbrick Honda's Game Changers of the Month.
Pablo Iglesias here for the Zimbrick Game Changers of the Month. I am joined by the lead of Mentoring Positives, Will Green. Tell us a little bit about Mentoring Positives and that initiative.
Mentoring Positives is a program I started in 2004. My passion comes from the loss of my mom, so I just turned my pain into passion. So she inspired me to create Mentoring Positives, man. I turned that pain into passion, and I've been mentoring youth for the last 21 years. We're in the Darby-Worthington Park neighborhood on the east side of Madison, and we work with a lot of kids from a socio-emotional standpoint, and I use enrichment activities like basketball, cooking food, and other things to teach them life skills.
Follow ESPN Madison on YouTube and on Facebook for more with the Game Changers of the Month, presented by Zimbrick Honda.
Get the beat of the Bucks straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend.
Welcome to the fantastic voyage. Marcus Johnson, the captain of this vessel.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production.
My first mate, Chris Johnson, the only father and son tandem.
Your weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks and conversations with the biggest names in basketball. This week on the pod, Marcus and Chris talk to former NBA veteran Gary Trent Sr. Find Here District now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcast.
Hi, this is Lee, inviting you to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. We got a great happy hour every day of the week from 4 o'clock to 7, and our patio during the summer is open too. If you're getting married, a special occasion, a birthday, anniversary, or even a business meeting, we've got all the accommodations right here at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. You work hard and sometimes you're not sure what you want to do, where you want to spend your money. I want to encourage you to come into Ruth's Chris Steakhouse and say hello. It'd be a pleasure to meet you.
For official rules and more information about every contest on 100.5 ESPN, visit ESPNWisconsinContests.com. That's ESPNWisconsinContests.com. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN app.
All day, every day, the Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you. 844-770-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more.
We're on the Badgers.
Team's in a good spot. Culture's in a really good spot.
Because we're on Wisconsin Sports.
And now it's just about, hey, can you get back to that bowl game and hopefully get one or two of those marquee ones.
This is 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
Great college football theme songs from years past on ESPN's coverage. Bringing us back, Riley Auk, our producer in the Everlight Solar Studio at ESPN Madison. Jesse Nelson, Pablo Iglesias, Adam Mertz live at the Hard Rock Casino Rockford. We appreciate the fans who have made the trip out here to see us today. Thanks to everybody who's here. I have a couple of friends stopping by after the show as well. We're going to hang out here at the Hard Rock Cafe. Might find our way to the tables.
I'm ready for that. I mean, we will make sure that we go check the over/under on Wisconsin wins.
5.5 is what it's been set here at the Hard Rock and at every sports book that I've seen across the face of the earth. So.
The audience that Jesse referred to, at least for the time being right now, my parents are here, so we can't turn around the camera with Jesse waving hello to my parents.
The parents are in the crowd
from Chicago coming up.
Appreciate the trip. Appreciate Brad Nortman being part of our pregame coverage as well throughout the course of this upcoming season. You hear him on Kyle Brust and Nortman weekdays from 2 to 4 on 100.5 ESPN, also on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel, where you can find our program here this morning. And Brad Nortman filled in on Wilde and Tausch when Tausch was on his annual summer sabbatical a few weeks back before he had his vocal cord surgery. Brad Nortman, that is.
Wait, Tausch? Or?
No, Brad had his vocal cord surgery. Tausch, maybe he needs some, but that's up to everyone's opinion. So here's what I asked Brad Nortman. It's a multiple-choice question, and I think this will provide a good glimpse into, you talk about the vibes, Pablo, heading into this season. I think the options to choose from in this question provide a good outlook to what you think the vibes will be for this season. I want you to hear how Brad answered this question, and then I'm going to ask you guys the same question afterward. Here is how I set this up for Brad Nortman a couple of weeks ago on Wilde and Tausch.
Which previous Wisconsin football season will this 2025 season most closely resemble? I'm giving you 3 options here. Go all the way back to 1992. I was 1 year old. I do not remember this season. I have only read about it. 1992, the Badgers were 5-6 in the 3rd season under the upstart head coach by the name of Barry Alvarez. They defeated 12th-ranked Ohio State at home at Camp Randall Stadium. Did not finish bowl eligible, finished 5-6, but it was the launch pad to what ended up becoming the Rose Bowl season to follow in 1993. So 1992, option number 1. Option 2, 2008, 3rd season under Brett Bielema. 7-6, 3-5 in the Big Ten. You may recall a overtime win against Cal Poly FCS in the final week of the season at Camp Randall to get to that 7th victory before going on to play in a bowl game year 3 under Brett Bielema. Or 2016, 2nd year under Paul Chryst. A lot of top 10 opponents on the schedule that year for Wisconsin. They exceeded expectations, beating LSU at Lambeau Field, beating Michigan State on the road. Hornibrook stepped in. They end up going 3-2 against top 10 teams and 11-3 overall on the season en route to the Cotton Bowl, year 2 under Paul Chryst. Of those 3, 1992, 2008, 2016, which do you think 2025 could most resemble?
I think 2025 season for Wisconsin is going to most resemble 1992. There's a few reasons why. Coming off 1991 into 92, Badger football was still not what it is or not what it once became, right? Expectations were low. And the year before, 1991, they also went 5-6. So this team, that team coming off of 5-6, this team coming off of 5-7, so similarities there. I don't see this team in 2025 winning 7 games, winning 11 games. I just don't see it. I think the schedule is too hard. So I think they're going to be hanging out in the 4 to 6 win category. But here's the one thing I think we will see this year out of the Wisconsin Badgers, and they need it. A statement win of some kind. Now, there's plenty of opportunity on this year's schedule. By my count, they play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 top 25 teams that are ranked before the season. They have plenty of opportunity to beat a ranked team, have some sort of stamp of significance on Coach Fickell's tenure. They still don't have a signature win yet. So I think this is the year they get a signature win, but I don't think they're going to break through and have more than 6 wins. So it's going to look like 1992. Signature win, but not really something to cheer about in the win-loss category.
That is our guy, Brad Nortman, who you will hear as part of the ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day pregame show a few weeks ago on Wilde and Tausch. He's recovering from his vocal cord surgery, and we wish him a speedy recovery, especially speedy because we need him Thursday at 6 o'clock. That's when we really KBN will be fine if he needs an extra day or 2 here. We need him Thursday at 6. We appreciate his insight. And we appreciated his insight on that question. So he says 1992. Of those 3 options, Mertzy, you're the historian of our panel. And I'm not just saying that because you're the oldest of the 3 of us.
I think he's taking a dig at you.
I mean, I'll take both of those.
1992 is one option, the 3rd year under Barry Alvarez. 2008 is an option, the 3rd year under Brett Bielema. And 2016, the 2nd year under Paul Chryst. Which do you feel will most resemble this upcoming season?
Out of those choices, this was a tough call for me. Out of those choices, I tend to go toward 92.
So you agree with Brad?
I'm with Brad on it. I like the idea of 2016. I think there's a possibility of that. But if you're talking about probability, I'm back to 1992, and that was a year where the Badgers actually had they were about to kick a field goal to beat Northwestern to become bowl eligible in their final game, and there was a fumble in field goal position that ended the season, ended the streak. So I could see this team being like on the verge and not quite able to break through. I still think that they'll get. I think they're headed to a bowl this year, but I think it's more of that level than that far exceeding expectations.
So you say 1992.
Yes.
Maybe not bowl eligible, but finding a way to get a signature win against a good opponent.
I think they'll be bowl eligible this year. I think they're going to
you
pull
do?
that off.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm thinking if we're going to call out predictions, I'm thinking 6-6 is kind of the watermark for them.
Yeah.
Less would be very disappointing to me. I think they need to show that kind of progress. And obviously we've talked about this. The schedule's the big thing. I'm of the mindset. I know. I'd love a signature win. You'd love to see that. I look at the schedule, and I'm like, I want to win November. What I want to win is November. I'm less worried about you got Ohio State and Oregon back-to-back in late October. That's going to be tough. The month of October is going to be tough. At Michigan, home against Iowa. If you get one out of this mix, I'm pretty happy. I want to beat Washington at home. I want to win at Indiana. I want to beat Brett in Illinois at home. I want to beat the Fighting Flex. Those are the kind of teams that I want to get over the hump against this year. The big win, if it comes, awesome. I mean, that would just accelerate everything. What you need to do is prove you can beat those 50-50 teams.
Pablo, let's go back to the original question of those 3 seasons, 92, 2008, and 2016. Which one do you think this season could most resemble?
I feel like the attitude resembles a lot of 2016. Does feel like a why not us type of mentality. Now, do I see that record being the exact same? I don't.
10-3? You don't see 10-3?
I don't.
Yeah, wow.
Unfortunately, I don't see 10-3. I will let the eternal optimist back at the Everlight Solar Studio, Riley Yauk, stand up for 10-3.
But we need to hear from him on this one.
We do.
Sure.
So I say the attitude resembles more of that team because it just does feel like that. It's kind of waking that sleeping giant, if you will, or more so waking that, you know what, don't count us out. Give us that bulletin board material. The guys know. Like, I've asked them point blank, what's the schedule like? How do you try to push that away? If anything, they're embracing that. They're taking that in. They know what the national pundits are saying. They know how that they want to bring this back for the fans. But if I'm talking about a season that that feels more relatable, it is going to be that year of Barry before the Rose Bowl, because I feel like that this is a year. I mean, honestly, let's be real too. It has to be a year where they turn the tide. But I think this is the first season where we truly see Wisconsin show that things are heading and trending into the right direction. You might not get everything that you're hoping that Luke Fickell brings to the board, but I think you see those true positive signs, and I think that marquee win is perfect right there. Luke Fickell's 0-6 so far, unfortunately, against top 25 teams in his Wisconsin career, or in his career, really, and they've got 6 according to the preseason rankings. But I think especially, we brought it up in the last side too, you know, they were close against Penn State. They were close in Oregon. I know it only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, but let's be real too. That was with a backup quarterback. The defense did what they could. So I say, why not? Why can't they pull out a statement victory? And one win, I think, or one game that I think we're all sleeping on is one of the teams that's actually not ranked in October, and that's Iowa. Remember how embarrassing that Iowa loss was last year.
Yep.
And how much they've, you know, the offensive line, what they look like now, what the defensive line looks like right now, too. Nobody wants to see Iowa run all over Wisconsin like they did last season. So I'm thinking that's one of the big games for me in October, outside of the pretty marquee ones as well.
When you're hitting at signature wins, and then you talked about turning the tide, I thought maybe Pablo was going to go big here on September 13th and call his
You
shot.
never know. You
I
never
thought
know.
you
Might
were
be
gonna call your
sprinkling some breadcrumbs
It's like
there.
a Taylor Swift album release.
Yes.
He's leaving us little breadcrumbs throughout here.
Right, turning the tide. I like it. Nice reference there.
All right, let's go back to the host of our post-game show after every Badgers game this season. He's the producer of our show this morning, Riley Yauk, back in the Everlight Solar Studio at ESPN Madison. Riley, of the 3 options given, 92, 08, and 2016, which season do you think this season will most represent?
As you could probably guess, I'm all in on 2016.
Of course you are.
I mean, I was even looking. I was like, you know, they went 5-7, 92. How did they do in 93? Oh yeah, they went to the Rose Bowl, went 10-1, but I'm not going quite that far.
Wow.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at 2016. It's eerily similar in some ways. We have a marquee SEC opponent early on in the season. I think Wisconsin, I'm going to be at that game. I think they could shock the world down there and set the tone for the season. But it wasn't perfect. They beat Georgia State by 6 in 2016.
Forget about that one.
Yeah. So I think while this team certainly still has some holes, especially on the offensive line, if there's an injury there, I'm really worried about that. The cornerback room, it's going to be tough to cover wide receivers like Ryan Williams and Jeremiah Smith. But the opportunities are there. The attitude is there, like Pablo is saying. And I'm just really, really optimistic. This could just be my excitement for the season to start bleeding in and what I want to happen, bleeding into my predictions. But I think it's all on the table, and this team is ready to take it. So 2016, let's get it.
I hope I'm wrong, but I have this vision of the future like I'm a psychic in a crystal ball, and I just see Riley in tears.
Just
when the
devastated.
Team is 2-8.
Why are you squashing on the man's dreams here?
Hey, no, this is Reese
He's
Davis.
hardly at the turn of 25 right now, and you're doing this to him, Jesse.
Reese Davis said it best when he was talking about Alabama.
Let a naysayer know.
Badger's going to let the naysayers know this year.
I'm sure that will be the case.
Hey, if I have to, if I can go off script on this one, actually the year that I'm thinking about is going into the season, which is where I thought you were headed with the question first, is 2009. It was coming off of that horrendous 2008 season where
the Cal Poly
kicker
game.
missed 3 extra points.
Yeah,
and that's why the Badgers won that game and were 7-6 instead of 6-7. But it was a huge question mark about who is this Brett Bielema guy? What can he do? How can he pull this thing together? We had a legend here. He was doing awesome, and now you handed the reins to this guy through back channels. He, is riding a little bit too high, a little bit too big in his britches around town, and Brett got it screwed in that year. He pulled all the pieces together. I think they went 9-4, if I'm remembering correctly. He had the big Champ Sports Bowl win over Miami. So I do feel like this is an inflection point for Luke Fickell, that he has a big opportunity here. But to your point, if he goes all Joe Clatton, this 3-win season kind of thing, even if you get the 4th year, where's the momentum? Where's the enthusiasm? How many season ticket holders are dropping? That it could start the spiral.
And that's what I want to see too, is this team playing hard. I want them to see. I want them to see. I want to see them play tough, play hard. Of course, I want to see them go back to bowl eligibility. I want all that. I want a winning record. And I think that's possible. I'm not saying that they're going to run the table by any means and go off and win the Big Ten championship. That would be something, though. That would be a heck of a year. But it's really about how they play, how hard they go out there into the field. And again, it's just that drop-off, too, where, again, I talked about if one player goes down in a Phil Longo offense, what the heck happens from there? There was a bigger drop-off more than we realized with injuries, and the roster depth feels like it's there. Again, the guys still need to prove it. I want to see how it all comes together, that big product on the field. But, again, that confidence for me is just, I want to see them fight hard. I don't want to see them fold, and unfortunately I think there were a lot of those moments last season, whether it was because they were fatigued, because guys weren't all completely bought into the locker room. I think there was a mix of those things. So, again, I feel like that this team is a lot more bought in. They're a lot more together, and they feel like they're a little deeper than years past.
Looking at that daunting schedule this year, one of the popular talking points throughout this offseason with our ESPN Wisconsin hosts and even many of our fans was if you could guarantee one win against any team on this schedule, who would you pick? Well, players answered that question, and there was one unanimous answer. We will hear who that team is on the other side of this break, including from a Heisman Trophy finalist who answered that question. Stick around. It's the ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day preseason special. Jesse Nelson, Pablo Iglesias, Adam Mertz, live from the Hard Rock Casino Rockford.
The countdown to kickoff continues next. You're listening to ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day.
Looking to join an international quality golf club right here in Madison? Discover TPC Wisconsin, an instant classic in the heart of the Midwest. With a course co-designed by Steve Stricker and PGA Tour Designs, it's the 13th and newest TPC Network golf club in the world. Other high-quality amenities include a short game practice area, athletic performance center, and meeting and dining facilities. Plus, membership benefits that reach around the globe. Schedule a tour at tpcwisconsin.com and start your journey to a lifetime of priceless golf.
All day, every day. The Carbless talk and text line is open for you. 844-770-3776. The Carbless talk and text line. This is more.
Hi, this is Jeff Levering with the Brewers Radio Network. Ridgetop Exteriors, Wisconsin's trusted name in home improvement, does more than just top-quality roofing. They're your go-to for maintenance-free siding and energy-efficient windows, too. Ridgetop has expert credentials with leading manufacturers like Pella, James Hardie, and LP Smart Siding. For over 20 years, they've delivered exceptional craftsmanship and service. Call Ridgetop Exteriors today or visit ridgetopexteriors.com. Ridgetop Exteriors, where customer service always comes first.
Ridgetop Exteriors.
The sound of summer is on ESPN Madison.
And a swing and a miss. Would you like fries with that?
Madison's home of the Brewers.
Fly ball to deep right. Out of here!
Catch every Milwaukee Brewers game this season on 100.5 ESPN.
Here's the throw from Perkins. It is going to be in time!
Brewers baseball on ESPN Madison is presented by Hard Rock Casino Rockford and brought to you by Canopy Wealth Management and the Pfister Hotel.
The Bucky Badger Student Mascot Fund was created to support the amazing student athletes who bring the best mascot in the world to life. Hey, my name is Stacy Bruner. I was Bucky Badger from 2010 to 2014. My most memorable sports moment was running out the flag at the 2013 Rose Bowl versus Stanford. Your donation will help fund new scholarships to ensure that the rich tradition of Bucky lives on. Learn more at supportbucky.org. That's supportbucky.org.
Timeout.
Remember, we're a team that plays together. Listen, the winning will take care of itself. We just have to get everyone involved.
In interscholastic sports, we celebrate what makes every one of us unique. And in the pursuit of a common goal, everyone in the huddle, in the bleachers, and in the community comes together. This message presented by the WIAA and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
All day, every day. The Carbless talk and text line is open for you. 844-770-3776. The Carbless talk and text line. This is more.
We're on the Badgers.
The schedule, as we all know, it's very challenging, daunting, however you want to describe it.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
He wants guys who want to jump at the opportunity to play against a schedule like that.
This is 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
That's how I get by. Oh, that's how I get by. 1,000 miles of gravel I've been walking.
ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day, brewed by Coors Light. The preseason special live from Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Jesse Nelson, Pablo Iglesias, Adam Mertz counting down to kick off. By the way, week 0 is about to get underway. The college football season is about to kick off on ESPN in a top 25 matchup between Iowa State and Kansas State. You think, where's a good neutral site to play that game? Dublin, Ireland. Let's take the two teams from the middle of the country and put them in Dublin, and I bet they're having a fantastic time.
Those games are always fun. I love to see what this one, and it's nice, too, that it's two ranked teams because it's, you think it's going to be a cakewalk for one of these teams. And I think, was it Georgia Tech that ended up pulling
Florida
off
State last year, yeah.
beat Florida State. So, hey, let's see what happens when we get two ranked teams just going at it in week 0.
Yeah, the experts had no idea. It's almost like preseason rankings are stupid. Anyway.
Or something.
That's just
well,
maybe that's just me.
2 years from now, it'll be Badgers versus Pitt in Dublin.
Yeah.
Did you guys buy your tickets yet? I booked my airfare.
Did you really?
No, I didn't.
I was like, wow,
The Aer Lingus Bowl.
Can you even do that?
I'm ready to go. I'll see you guys there.
Well, I can guarantee you this: if the three of us are willing to do a week 0 show in Dublin, we'll find a way.
Let's
to
do
get
it.
over
Let's
there
do it.
to
Let's
have a
do
heck
it.
of a time across the pond. Wisconsin, Pittsburgh opens up the season a couple of years from now. Wisconsin, Miami, Ohio opens up the season a few days from now. Thursday night under the lights at Camp Randall Stadium, 8 o'clock kickoff on the Big Ten Network for Wisconsin and Miami, Ohio. I would guess that no one would say of the games on the schedule this year with 6 top 25 opponents, bunch of Big Ten battles, who's the game that you would most want to see Wisconsin win? I don't think anyone's going to pick Thursday night against the Redhawks. That's probably a given that we assume they will win that game.
You know what happens when you assume?
90% of the time you're right.
Sure.
We did ask a bunch of players, hosts, and fans, what's the one game you want to guarantee the Badgers win this season? We asked that question of Melvin Gordon when he joined Jim, Matt, and Molly at the NFL alumni golf outing at Trappers Turn in Wisconsin Dells a few weeks back. Here's how the 2014 Heisman Trophy runner-up answered that question.
But if there's one game on the calendar, which one are you circling that you're like, oh, I want them to win this one?
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
God doggone right. We better not lose another game. I'm going to lose it.
That's fair.
I'm going to lose it. I don't care. We can go 0 and whatever. That one win better be versus Minnesota.
Whew. I was expecting Iowa,
I
Ohio
don't
State,
care about
Alabama,
Iowa, and all that.
No?
And we understand all that. They're tough opponents. We don't overlook any team. But at the end of the day, you bring the axe home. I don't care about nothing else. I don't care about any other game. If we lose every game and win that one, I'll be like, okay, we got hope. When we lose, I'm telling you, that game is just, I hate them now. I just left the 3M, and I just hate the gopher. I hate that animal. I hate everything about Minnesota. I seen a Minnesota gopher store, and I just was ready to blow it up. And I just hate it. I literally hate it. You'll never catch me in it. You'll never catch me rooting for them ever in life. And we need to bring that axe back home. Or we're gonna continue to be on the edge. The players, the past players.
Has he made himself clear on where he stands on?
I hope I made myself clear.
That was Melvin Gordon joining Molly Braun and I and Jim, Matt, and Molly a few weeks back. Yeah, he wants to beat Minnesota. I think he's left no doubt. Minnesota, guys, do you echo those same sentiments? Is that the one game, if you could guarantee a win this year, that you would want to see, or does it more accurately reflect your thoughts to say one of those top 25 teams, an Alabama win early in the season? Which one is it to you, Pablo?
As close as I was to leaning on Iowa, I just love how real I've gotten to know Mel over the last few years too, and just how real he keeps it. And I think that is the sentiment where, look at last season too. Unfortunately, the Badgers were winless, including the Minnesota game, in those rivalry and trophy games. But when it comes down to it, I remember the first season that I actually covered this team was 2021. There was a lot of momentum going in, and unfortunately, that team ended up falling up short. A win would have sent them into the Big Ten championship and a virtual tie, essentially, into the Big Ten West, where Wisconsin would have had that outright. So there was a lot on the line in that 2021 game, and the sentiment I just remember before was, nobody wants to be known as the team that loses the axe. And I remember right after when all that happened, just the fall off, how sad everybody was. That's just what it was. And you can feel that, yes, you never want to be known as the team that loses the axe. And I think if Wisconsin, at the very least, of course I want to see more than one win, but if I were to only choose that one win to back up Mel on that one, yes, it does feel like the more I get to know this team, the more I get to know this program, the fans, everything, Minnesota just carries that heavy axe, if you will, that heavy weight going into that week.
Yeah, so in my house, I had a statement when my girls were growing up, and it was probably 99% serious that I wasn't paying for my kids' education in Minnesota. Like, they could go to any other school. but they're not going there. And I'm like, I know this is really, pithy. And I know this is maybe not the greatest decision for their future because it's a great school. It's
toured
a cool
Minnesota.
campus.
It's a very nice school.
I mean, Brad Nordman committed there, so it's not all bad. But I'm with you. And I'll tell you what, when they had different coaches, it was a different feeling. It was more like, oh, okay, it was kind of that Iowa feeling to me. When they brought in PJ Fleck and we got to see his madness and his carnival barker attitude, that cemented it for me. I cannot stand losing to that guy or that team.
Riley, you want to make it 3 for 3 back in the Everlight Solar studio?
Yeah, I mean, they have to beat Minnesota this year. I wouldn't choose it simply because I think that's a lock. They're beating Minnesota. Luke Fickell hates PJ Fleck's guts, and that is clearly a game that is circled. I can't confirm that. It just is inferred.
Just a hunch?
Just a hunch. Same thing with Brett Bielema. I think Fickell hates Fleck and hates Bielema. That's not any insider trading information. Those are just educated guesses from the reactions. You have to beat Minnesota. Minnesota sucks. I love that Melvin Gordon said he would blow up a team store of Minnesota.
I'm surprised we kept that in there. But okay.
I told you, Mel keeps it real. Mel has
maybe too real sometimes.
Yes.
I'm just saying, I would do it with him, but I despise Minnesota, and that needs to be a win.
Yeah. The FBI's going to be hanging on to this audio.
But if you had to choose another game, I'm going Ohio State.
Oh, sure.
Because a win over Ohio State, they haven't beat them in 15 years since the 2010 David Gilreath game, and they've had tons of opportunities, and we're not even on Ohio State's radar. Right now, we're not even in the conversation of the upper echelon of the conference anymore. We quickly dropped out of those. So a win over Ohio State, satisfying for the program, satisfying for the fan base, and it starts to get people talking, at least depending on how the season is up until that point, of Wisconsin, at least threatening the upper echelon, the Titans of the Big Ten again.
Sure. So let's play that game real quick here. So besides Minnesota, who's the one you want to see him win, Mertz? Got Alabama week 3, Ohio State, Iowa, Oregon all in October. Illinois comes to town in late November.
There's a lot of really good choices here. Yeah. On a personal level, I'm traveling out to Oregon, and I have a lot of relatives out there. So I would love to see a win in Autzen Stadium. That'd be pretty cool. My second team that I kind of have always rooted against is Michigan. And I think that would be an important win, getting back to the earlier comment about where do you stack up in that mid-range of Big Ten teams. You're catching Michigan at a time when they're still trying to figure out what they are, who they are, with all the sanctions recently and kind of that cloud that's hanging over the program. I would love to come out with a win in Ann Arbor. I think that would be huge.
Pablo?
Yeah, the win in Ann Arbor would be nice. The one that I'm looking at where I feel like is the most potential gettable marquee win is that senior night Illinois game when Brett Bielema comes back to Madison, because I think about when I was in the stands just watching it as a fan, that was the Brett Bielema coming back to Wisconsin. That was Polker's last game where I think there's a sting there. Luke Fickell had his number. He pulled out the tricks, and as Riley probably pointed to a little bit, there's definitely a little bit of bad blood from the last time. And I just think there could potentially be something there. It's the last home game of the season. I feel like that's got to be an under-the-lights game, too. That feels like it's got some juice to it. So I feel like, if anything, too, Illinois is a team that it is more on the ascension. They're already in the top 25. I think, if anything, too, that could be a big statement win for me, and I think that's a gettable win for Wisconsin.
I like the Michigan or Alabama picks. I would love a home victory because I do think that, whether it's fair or not, carries more weight.
It does.
To say the student section's leaving and they're amped up and they get to rush the field. Like, there's that imagery that comes with that becomes a signature moment. But I do think for the sake of this season and the trajectory moving forward, the belief that this year's team and the fan base would have if before October 10th you got one of those wins against Alabama at their place or in the Big House against Michigan, against that brand and a team and a program that's been better than Wisconsin for the last 5 years either way, one of those two wins would then propel you to believe if we can go to Alabama, if we can go to Michigan and win, we could beat any of these teams on the schedule the rest of the way. So I would like to have an early season tone setter, but if you're not going to guarantee me that this season's going to be as great as we might want it to be, or like Riley thinks it'll be back in the studio, then give me one of those home victories, Ohio State, Illinois, late in the season, where fans can rush the field, and that can be, you hang your hat on that moment and say this is something we can be proud of as Wisconsin Badgers fans in 2025.
You get good momentum, too. If you beat Illinois at home and you beat them in a soundly good fashion, then you go into Minnesota. You go to Minnesota. I mean, I can't guarantee that it would be back-to-back wins, but you carry a lot of good momentum going into that rivalry week.
The Optimism Hour will kick off here in a couple of minutes. Joe Thomas, the highest Wisconsin Badgers draft pick ever selected at 3rd overall in the draft almost, more than 2 decades ago now, or about 2 decades ago. He shared some thoughts on how he feels about this upcoming season. Riley Auk is going to enjoy listening to what Joe Thomas had to say. That's all I have to say about that. You'll hear what the Pro Football Hall of Famer had to say in a couple of minutes as we kick off Hour 2 of the ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day preseason special live from Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Stick around.
The countdown to kickoff continues next. You're listening to ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day.
People travel the world to collect Hard Rock shirts, and Hard Rock Casino Rockford is going to give the people what they want. Get in on the action at Hard Rock Casino Rockford, where all new Unity card signups receive an official Hard Rock shirt, plus free play to kickstart a winning streak. Whether you're spinning the slots or playing the tables, you'll be dressed for success. Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Let's Hard Rock. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
To help those who want to be helped, but may not be able to afford it.
That's what PGA Tour winner Grayson Murray had envisioned for a foundation before he sadly took his own life at just 30 years old. His parents channeled their grief into creating the Grayson Murray Foundation, carrying out his vision to help those struggling with mental health and addiction. To donate and learn more, visit GraysonMurrayFoundation.com.
GRB Academy is baseball for the serious player. Over the past 15 years, GRB has been Wisconsin's top destination for player development and advancement, including over 468 college commitments and 27 MLB draft picks. Their facility in Windsor is the home of GRB Rays baseball and features over 52,000 square feet of elite baseball training. Tryouts for the 2026 summer season begin July 22nd. Find full training programs and register now at grbacademy.com.
Summer's not over yet, and neither are the sizzling deals at Metro Kia Madison. Right now, drive home a brand new 2025 Kia Sorento with 0% APR for 48 months, just $20.83 per $1,000 borrowed. Or plug into the future with the 2025 Kia EV6 with 0% APR for 60 months, $16.67 per $1,000. But hurry, just like summer, these deals end September 2nd. Hurry into Metro Kia Madison today and browse their inventory at metrokiamadison.com.
This is Derek Engler. You're listening to a Good Karma Brands radio station, 100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison.
Madison, Wisconsin is as good as it gets.
It's all about the Badgers.
Go Badgers! Go Badgers!
Games like this is what really separates college football from everything else.
Open up the history books. Here comes Rondell.
That was J.J. Watt, and what a story this young man is.
Gordon again. What a performance by Melvin Gordon.
And the pass rush gets home for the Badgers. Camp Randall lets it roar.
An unrivaled fan base, the best college sports town in the world. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day.
Feels good to be back on ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day. Brewed by Coors Light, live at the Hard Rock Casino Rockford, our preseason special. Jesse Nelson, Pablo Iglesias, Adam Mertz counting you down to Thursday night under the lights at Camp Randall Stadium. Wisconsin, Miami, Ohio opens it up. The Badgers looking to bounce back in 2025, a prove-it year for Luke Fickell and many members of the Wisconsin football team. Riley Yauk, our producer back in the Everlight Solar Studio at ESPN Madison. He's the host of the ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day post-game show this season, along with Corey Sparks, our teammate at ESPN Beaver Dam, host of the Dam Sports Show, weekday afternoons at 4 o'clock. Excited for you to hear them after every game this year. We're excited to be part of the crew that will bring you the coverage before each game this year, live from our Regent Street tailgate or whatever establishments would like to have us all around the greater Madison area, as long as there's Coors Light in hand, just like they have here at Hard Rock Casino Rockford. We'll be enjoying some after the show and watching college football. Week 0 is underway in Dublin, Kansas State and Iowa State in a top 25 matchup on ESPN. One of the other former Badgers, maybe the best Badger to ever do it at the University of Wisconsin, Joe Thomas, was a cousin sub of the day, filling in hosting Wilde and Tausch a few weeks back, and he shared some optimism for the coming season. So this is going to kick off the Optimist Hour, guys, because Riley says they're going to win 10 games and make whatever bowl. Good for him to think that.
And beat Alabama.
The rest of it, because he's going to the game, yeah.
Let a naysayer know.
Yes, thanks. Thank you, Riley Reese Davis, back in the studio. We'll get Riley's thoughts on what Joe Thomas has to say here, but this is the Pro Football Hall of Famer. Of course, you know him from the Cleveland Browns and our Wisconsin Badgers. Here's what Joe Thomas said about the state of things for the Wisconsin Badgers program heading into this 2025 season.
If you look back throughout history, going back to when Barry got here, it seems like our best teams are the teams that don't have a high ranking going into the season, don't have really high expectations, because the Badger football program has always been built on the backs of walk-ons, Wisconsin natives, guys that are hardworking, they're tough, they're resilient, they're willing to do the things that the other teams and people are not able to do, and they always come together as a team because they're unselfish. And I see this team in a very same perspective, in the very same place as we were in 2006, because you are coming off of a tough year. You are coming off of high expectations when they brought Fickell in here, right? People forget very quickly in sports, which is good and bad, but they forget that, like, he was the top name as a head coaching candidate potentially for a while there, and everybody thought maybe he was going to take over Ohio State. And Chris McIntosh goes in there, and they have this great relationship right off the bat from their time playing in the Big Ten, and we get Fickell, and everybody's all excited about what he's going to bring and how he's going to be able to recruit more top flight talent. And I think the expectations are not there anymore, and the team is feeling like, hey, we still feel like we can be somebody. We can do this. And I think that's a really good position for Wisconsin football because it fits the culture here, who we are as Wisconsin people, always pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps. Nobody's given us a chance, but we've always found a way. And I think the makeup of the team feels a lot more like those teams with guys that just want to work. They just want to play together. They just want to grind, and they feel like there's a belief in their coaching staff and each other.
That's Pro Football Hall of Famer Joe Thomas. I'm sure Riley Yauk is tingling and beaming ear to ear back in the Everlight Solar Studio. We'll get his thoughts in a moment. Adam Mertz, first, your historical perspective seeing this program. Is Joe Thomas accurate?
He is spot on historically. I'm curious to see how that translates into this era of NIL and guys that aren't as tethered to the program's history, didn't grow up here as much. There's a lot less state talent, a lot less walk-on development, and essentially ascension to starting roles throughout the program. So I don't know where those bonds are at this point. I'd be really curious to see how that plays out. I absolutely agree though with the lunch pail mentality. Do you have that? We talked in our last segment about Illinois and Brett Bielema, and he's brought that there. They have a hard-working, hard-hitting team, and I think that's what Fickell projects to me and what he wants to be. There's been elements of that the last couple of years, but I haven't seen it totally break through. And maybe that gets back to the scheme offensively of what you're trying to accomplish, and now you're in maybe a little bit more of a natural fit with Jeff Grimes and trying to run the ball and be a little bit more physically aggressive. I love Joe's optimism, and I'd love to see that come about because that gets into our belief also about, yes, the record matters, but it's how they compete and it's how they represent the program out on the field this year because we're not expecting them to be in the college football playoff. This is a stepping stone season, and you need it to be on the stepping stone up rather than the stepping stone down.
Pablo?
Yeah, I feel like from what I've noticed in the practices, Luke Fickell still feels like he's intense. He's still getting on guys. I mean, that's what you want as a head coach. But just for me, it feels like that there's a looser energy. It feels like that there's something where rather than just kind of feeling like you got to just, stay like you're stressed or you're on that button, it feels like that Luke Fickell is willing to take a step back, let the guys cook a little bit more. Again, maybe there's more confidence in Jeff Grimes and seeing how a more familiar Wisconsin offense operates. So I do sense that I think Luke Fickell's always been confident in his abilities, but I think it felt like that there was a lot more pressure in these first 2 seasons. Not saying, if anything, again, the pressure is definitely very much on this season, but it feels like that there's a looser energy. I'm noticing that, at least just from a body language standpoint. It's just there's a lot more smiles across the board. There's a lot more of that loose energy. Everybody's excited versus that anxious energy of like, is this going to work out? What the heck's going to happen? Now, again, I think from that positive vibe standpoint, the guys feel a lot looser and ready to go.
I think you make a great point, Pablo. I remember seeing Fickell on the Big Ten Network at Big Ten Media Days, and he came on later. And he didn't say this outright, but this is what I heard. Like, I've been too tense. I've been too uptight. I'm loosening up this year. You look at how he handled that Phil Longo situation, that press conference afterward. It was a debacle. Mm-hmm. And you could tell, all right, this guy is hanging on by his fingernails right now to this season. He is feeling it. And when you're a leader, people get that vibe. They see the energy, the negative energy that you're rubbing off at that point. It's not a good feeling. It's not a good way to go. So hopefully he's able to follow through and feel good about that, almost like setting aside the results this year, about this is going to be our blueprint long term. I need to come at this with this kind of positive energy.
And before we get to Riley, I do want to bring up what Joe said at the start of that clip, which is when Luke Fickell was on the market or rumored to be interested in the Wisconsin job, most of us, you remember it was like, yeah, right. Oklahoma's available, all these other jobs around the country. Like, there's way better jobs available than ours. Like, that guy's for sure going to take one of the big-time programs. He chose this one. Wisconsin got him. We all were over the moon about that hire 3 years ago. And now here we are, and we're questioning whether he's the right guy for the job. And that's every game, every quarter, every drive this year is going to be a statement about Luke Fickell's job security. That's not fair to him. And I think we should give him this entire season to look at, okay, how is this team progressing? You obviously had the wrong scheme in place here offensively for the first 2 seasons. Let's see what this looks like. We talked about what success looks like this year for the Badgers. Just feeling better. It's almost like a preseason NFL game. It's not necessarily what the score is going to be of some of these games this year. Just how do you feel watching this team? Are they competitive against Iowa and Minnesota and all these other teams that are on the schedule this year? And do they have that moment we've talked about that they can hang their hat on? All right, let's go to the optimist. Riley's back in the studio. Riley, what do you think of Joe Thomas's audio there?
I mean, obviously I loved it. And I think you guys, especially Pablo and Mertz, about the culture. I think that's going to be the most important element this year. The culture seems changed. Every single beat reporter we've talked to has commented on the culture seeming different. Every player we've talked to has talked about how the locker room feels better and feels closer. And I think that was a huge point of emphasis for this coaching staff in the offseason. Like, they had a reward system where players who hung out with other players who weren't in their position group got points. And I don't know what the rewards were, but clearly they wanted the team to bond more. So when adversity hits, which it will with this schedule, despite what I say and how I feel about how the season will go, adversity will hit. Even if they go undefeated during games, there will be adversity. And I think that emphasis on the culture in the offseason and throughout camp is going to pay major dividends. And what's better to rally around as a team than nobody believes in us? No one thinks we're going to do well. Our over-under is 5.5 wins. They think we suck. And they get to let the naysayers know this year. And I think that's that culture is going to carry the Badgers this year in those difficult moments.
We'll continue the conversation about culture and facing adversity because I think Riley brings up some good points, and it's not the only commentary we've heard this week about culture for the Wisconsin Badgers program. We'll talk about that coming up next. It's the ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day preseason special live from Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Jesse Nelson, Pablo Iglesias, Adam Mertz on ESPN Wisconsin.
The countdown to kickoff continues next. You're listening to ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day.
Jim Rutledge here. It's officially camping season, which means I will be using my big blue truck from Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb. You're only minutes away from a better buying experience at Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb. What does that mean? It means it's a customized buying experience. If you're an expert and you know what you want, they're happy to let you take the lead. And if you have a ton of questions, Aaron, Tyler, and the whole team at Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb will make sure they can answer them all. You're only minutes away from a better buying experience at Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb.
This August, guests at Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison are diving into the sea in search of a treasure trove of cash. So come on by and seek your fortune. Starting at 6 p.m. on Saturday, August 30th, 24 winners will each select a cash prize of up to $5,000. Then at 9 p.m., one grand prize winner will swim away with $20,000 in cash. The treasure chest is full, so dive into the fun at
Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison.
Madison's financial challenges need a Dane County-based bank. Starion Bank is a full-service community bank that delivers quality big bank services with a local approach. We are proud to be there for any budding entrepreneur or small businesses, helping them exceed their financial goals from banking to lending to cash management. Visit a banker at one of our convenient branches in Middleton, Monona, or Sun Prairie. Starion Bank, taking you farther.
Brian here from Canopy Wealth Management. At Canopy, we create strategies that are tailored to your needs and goals. We've invested heavily in client-friendly software so your assets and plan progress are available to view in one place at any time. Whether you prefer only the high-level information or enjoy the intricate details of the planning process, we've got you covered. Canopy Wealth Management. Care, competence, clarity. It's not just a tagline, it's a promise. Go to canopy-wealth.com to get started today. That's canopy-wealth.com.
Hi, this is Lee, inviting you to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. We got a great happy hour every day of the week from 4 o'clock to 7, and our patio during the summer is open too. If you're getting married, special occasion, a birthday, anniversary, or even a business meeting, we've got all the accommodations right here at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. You work hard and sometimes you're not sure what you want to do, where you want to spend your money. I want to encourage you to come into Ruth's Chris Steakhouse and say hello. It'd be a pleasure to meet you.
The roll screen, the ability to roll a window screen up and down like a shade. Pella invested in this breakthrough when the business was born and has introduced the world to innovative, game-changing designs ever since. Hi, I'm Gina Della from Pella. Our incredible craftsmen have always been driven by the principles of traditional American values and the desire to enrich the homes and lives of others. They've been at it for a century. When you want long-lasting comfort and reliability, we make it easy for you to trust Pella. Every piece is specifically constructed for you and your home. Pella always designs with innovation and rigorously tests each product for quality and performance. Our team takes pride in constructing quality windows and doors with meticulous attention to every detail. Investing in new Pella windows and doors creates long-term energy savings and durability that lasts for years. And if you order by August 31st, get 0% interest for up to 5 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side. When you see Diamond Jim, you can count on him to be on your side. Selection beyond compare with on-site repair, so you can wear your jewelry with pride. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Customizable just to you. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today.
ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day preseason special rolls on at Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Week zero of the college football season means it's just about time to get underway Thursday night. Jesse Nelson and Pablo Iglesias, Adam Mertz, and our producer Riley Auk, who is the host of the ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day post-game show this season on ESPN Wisconsin, back in the Everlight Solar studio. ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day is brewed by Coors Light. When you need to refresh on game day, choose a beer as cold as the Rockies. Cold filtered, cold lagered, and cold packaged for peak refreshment. When the mountains are blue, you know what to do, and that's crush
a Coors Light.
2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. We'll get you involved.
I was ready for it. I was ready.
I'm not in mid-season.
We'll get you on that.
Week zero.
Week zero for everybody.
Week zero. Come on.
Culture is an important word for the Wisconsin Badgers football program this year. We've talked about it a bunch already in the first hour and a half of our program. Let's hear what Jim Polzin, who covers the Wisconsin Badgers for the Wisconsin State Journal, he joined the Jump Around, which Pablo hosts along with Jim Rutledge every Thursday on ESPN Madison's digital platforms, including streaming live on YouTube. This is what Jim Polzin said earlier this week, which I thought stood out from your conversation with him about culture for the Wisconsin football program in 2025.
They're definitely saying all the right things. I mean, like I think even from media day back in, right before they went to Platteville, that was a talking point, was that, hey, we're together more. They spent more time together in the offseason. Brady Collins had this thing where, if you send a picture of yourself with a teammate, not a position group, you get bonus points or something. Like I think the coaching staff went out of its way to try to build chemistry and camaraderie, knowing that it's more difficult than ever to do that in this day and age in college football. Because like you said, there's a ton of new players on this roster between freshmen and transfers. It's really been a recycling of this roster, and you've got to build chemistry. Now, so I say that not, I believe what they're saying is true. Like I believe that they think the chemistry is better and that, the culture is better. I have no doubt. I'm not believing them, right? I don't think that stuff gets tested until adversity hits. I think that's what we saw last year, is that I think we heard a lot of positive things in fall camp last year, and then it really wasn't until November, during that losing streak, where we started to see that, hey, not everybody is bought in. And those, really the last two games in particular, the rivalry games, the Iowa, Minnesota, Nebraska games, we saw this team, I don't want to say quit, but I think we did see some players not fighting the way they should. And that's on them, but it's also on the coaching staff, and it's on this team's culture that they didn't have it quite right. So I think they learned from that lesson. I think the idea of walking into a locker room every day and not seeing any trophies was gut-wrenching and sickening to them. And so I think that's a great reminder throughout the offseason. But again, that's why I think October is so big, is like, they may play well in October and still go 1-3. And then what? If you're 4-4 exiting October, where are you mentally? Where are you physically? But where are you mentally? And how much buy-in do you still have at that point? Because that's when the leadership and culture is going to get tested.
That's Jim Polzin. He covers the Badgers for the Wisconsin State Journal. He joined the Jump Around, ESPN Madison's digital Badgers dedicated show with Pablo Iglesias and Jim Rutledge every Thursday on the ESPN Wisconsin digital or the ESPN Madison YouTube channel and all of our digital platforms. You can find that full conversation on the ESPN Wisconsin app. So some great thoughts there from Jim Polzin on the state of the culture for the program. And everyone can say preseason. Culture's great. We're all team bonding in Platteville. We're all looking forward to anticipating what's going to come this year. How do you handle when you get shellacked by Alabama at their place? How do you handle when you get upset by a team that you thought you were going to beat in early November or late October? How do you think this team will respond, Pablo?
I need to see consistency. I've said that this team, if anything, out of the 3 years of Luke Fickell, it feels like that this team can walk the walk and talk the talk. They've talked the talk and did a little bit of walking the last couple seasons, but
through about
again,
2 or 3 quarters, right?
Yes, and then we saw the fall off. Again, I think it's a team that is ready to walk the walk and talk the talk, but I have to see consistency. I have to see, and Luke Fickell even said, I remember the first season, this is a quote that he said to his locker room, this is a quote that he says to everybody, is that we want to be not occasionally great, but consistently good. So consistency needs to be the thing. We need to see, and from the defensive side, too. It's not just, I know we talked a lot about the offense, but we have to talk about the defense, too. Mike Tressel addressing on Media Day was that they just allowed way, way too many plays big offensive runs. We know that the Iowa game probably still has a lot of nightmares from that one, but preventing the run, making sure that you create more negative plays, that's another side of it too. Can the defense do that consistently? Can the offense look good consistently as well? It feels like it needs to be run first too. So I want to see consistency, but when it comes to facing adversity, I think it is just a matter of fact of staying together, just trying to figure out those ways of staying consistent, still sticking to your ball game, not trying to reinvent the wheel, and hopefully that's the strategy that they go about.
Did you know, while you brought up the defense, did you guys know they were last in all of college football in tackles for loss last season?
Yes.
Last.
Yeah.
Last.
That's not a Wisconsin defense.
134.
This Wisconsin football last in tackles for loss last year.
How about that?
Unacceptable.
I know.
Mertz, what do you think of the culture comments from Jim Polzin?
So what I was thinking of, and especially as Pablo touched on the consistency, so you saw them show up for these 2 primetime games against Penn State and Oregon, undermanned, with a lot of problems on both sides of the ball, and put up really, really good efforts. So it was there. Like, there was something there that they could have done more with last year. But then they just didn't shine the same way when the spotlight wasn't brightest. And that's a problem. That's a big problem to me. You got guys, to me that's a little bit of individualism or, wanting to be there and make a name for yourself on national TV and not showing up and doing the hard work on the tough games and coming into, a chilly Friday in Camp Randall to play Minnesota, at least put like a little bit of pride back on this season, a stamp of approval. The thing that I'll go back to that was going through my head, man, as a coach, how hard it is to instill this sense of culture and camaraderie. It used to be you'd bring a guy in and you had a 4-year window and you'd bring them along and you can have a senior working with the freshmen and, all this mentoring going on. I reflected on 2 names that they brought in the offseason. Mark Hamper, a wide receiver from Idaho. Everyone's like, oh, my gosh, this guy's blowing up the FCS. Let's see what he can do at this level. And Tanner Koziol, the 94 catch tight end from Ball State. You're like, finally, we got some maybe a little more options here for you to be able to play on. These guys didn't make it through spring ball.
Nope. No, they did not.
That's insane. So you got that. You have the turnover in the secondary, in the cornerback room especially, and the whole Xavier Lucas mess with the tampering from Miami. How do you even keep these guys straight, let alone try to build some cohesion? This is a huge challenge, and I think a lot of it has to then fall to the players. You talked about this a lot. The coaches can do so much. They can set up the atmosphere and the environment, but the players are the ones that have to bring each other together.
One of the great things about this is, there's 2 types of TV shows. There's one where it's kind of continuous storyline throughout an entire season and maybe even throughout the entire series. And then there's others that are kind of week by week case, like a detective show, like week by week. There's a different case. Law and Order every week. It doesn't matter if you watch the last episode. You know exactly, start to finish. That's your story. That's how college football is now. It's no longer multiple seasons telling a story start to finish. Every year is its own year. Every episode is its own episode.
Yep.
And so 2025. Look at Indiana last year in 2024. Right. 2025 for Wisconsin could be that. Like, let's just hit the refresh button. This year's brand new. New players are here. Let's flip that culture, and maybe 3 weeks in Platteville gets that job done before we kick it off here on Thursday night against Miami, Ohio. Did you like my first analogy?
I did like it.
Thank you.
It's good stuff.
I'm thinking about
how long were you working on that one?
About 20 seconds.
I like it.
Not
Way
bad.
to think on your toes.
Off the cuff. ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day is brewed by Coors Light. We're live for our preseason special from Hard Rock Casino Rockford, where fans are filing in. They're enjoying a lovely week 0 of college football here. The sports book just to our left as we look out here at Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Of course, the tables are open. The slot machines are
they are.
And, of course, it's a great entertainment destination as well. I was here with my parents a few months ago for the Terry Bradshaw show, which was a one-of-a-kind. It was really a spectacular show. You wouldn't think a Terry Bradshaw show. What's he going to do? But he's singing old country songs. He's telling jokes. He's answering Q&A questions from fans about Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love and Caleb. It was awesome. So the Terry Bradshaw show was awesome. They have live entertainment here all the time. Check out their full lineup online. The great acts coming here in the fall. Kevin Hart is going to make his way here, I'm sure, pretty soon.
Nice.
So,
that's a good name.
Yeah, check it out. Hard Rock Casino here in Rockford is an outstanding destination for you to check out anytime you get the chance to make the very short drive down from the Madison area.
I'm eyeing the craps table right now. It looks like it's already
Craps,
pretty active.
yeah, you're a craps
11:30. Yeah, well, I go to a craps
I
table.
dabble.
How successful I am, that remains to be said. I did actually at one point. It was what was it? I had friends actually unfortunately bet against me when I was rolling.
Oh, that's not very nice.
Oh, then he
of
ended up making $200. But then we were in this golf tournament one weekend, and I ended up just lapping him. So he's like, you know what? That's probably good revenge on that one. I'm like, hey, I will take that win at the end of the day.
Whether we hit the sports book or the blackjack table or wherever we want to get to next, we're going to have some fun here after we're done here at Hard Rock Casino Rockford. We're with you till noon, taking you up to Red Sox Yankees, by the way, here on ESPN Radio to follow us. Coming up next, we're going to place some of our bets for the season, our best Big Ten bets for the college football season here at Hard Rock Casino Rockford. No better place to do it. We'll do that coming up next on the ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day preseason special.
The countdown to kickoff continues next. You're listening to ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day.
Summer's not over yet, and neither are the sizzling deals at Metro Kia Madison. Right now, drive home a brand new 2025 Kia Sorento with 0% APR for 48 months. Just $20.83 per $1,000 borrowed. Or plug into the future with the 2025 Kia EV6 with 0% APR for 60 months. $16.67 per $1,000. But hurry, just like summer, these deals end September 2nd. Hurry into Metro Kia Madison today and browse their inventory at metrokiamadison.com.
Summer is here, and there's no better way to celebrate than with Door County Distillery. Hey, it's Alex Stroh. I've been telling you for years how great Door County Distillery is. Locally produced, handcrafted, and award-winning spirits made locally in beautiful Door County. The sun is shining, and so can the Rock Island Rum from Door County Distillery in your summertime cocktail. Otherwise, vodkas, gins, whiskeys, brandies, and more, it's all available from the award-winning Door County Distillery. Find a huge list of unique cocktail recipes and the retailer nearest you, doorcountydistillery.com. That's doorcountydistillery.com.
Bruner Realty and ESPN Madison have teamed up again for the 5th annual Putts for Pups golf outing benefiting the Dane County Humane Society. Join us for a day of golf at Blackhawk Country Club on September 19th. Since it started in 2021, Putts for Pups has raised over $120,000 for the Dane County Humane Society. Donate or find out how you can get involved at putsforpups.com. Putts for Pups is proudly sponsored by Badgerland Exteriors, Alts Operations, Zimbrick Automotive, and Vortex Optics.
Is your roof underperforming? Saggy shingles, leaky spots? Sounds like someone needs a little Evandale Roofing. They don't just patch things up, they go all the way. Tight, sealed, satisfied. It's the kind of roof that'll have your neighbors going,
now that's a roof.
Evandale Roofing. They get on top so you don't have to. Call now. Your house deserves it.
GRB Academy is baseball for the serious player. Over the past 15 years, GRB has been Wisconsin's top destination for player development and advancement, including over 468 college commitments and 27 MLB draft picks. Their facility in Windsor is the home of GRB Rays baseball and features over 52,000 square feet of elite baseball training. Tryouts for the 2026 summer season begin July 22nd. Find full training programs and register now at grbacademy.com.
America is kept safe because the Army National Guard responds, protects, and supports our nation when it needs them most. The Army National Guard responds to disasters such as wildfires and floods. They protect us with missile defense, cybersecurity, and civilian support teams for chemical, biological, and radiological hazards. Be there for your community and your country. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about part-time service. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Get ready for the ultimate Saturday night at Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Join us for the all-new Queen of Hearts drawing at 4, 6, 8, and 10 p.m. This is your chance for royal glory. When your name is drawn, choose the right card and you could win a life-changing jackpot, up to $150,000. The longer the Queen stays hidden, the bigger the jackpot grows. Let's Hard Rock with the Queen of Hearts only at Hard Rock Casino Rockford. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
In the next 30 seconds, I'm going to tell you how to save money and save the planet. It's simple. Ditch your energy bill and make the switch over to Everlight Solar. While electricity prices keep rising, Everlight Solar will give you the chance to take ownership of your power while also reducing your carbon footprint. As a local company based out of Madison, they'll be there with you every step of the way as you make the switch to solar. To learn more about how you can save money and save the planet, go to everlightsolar.com.
On the air, on demand, on social, on Wisconsin Sports. Serving Wisconsin sports fans. This is 100.5 ESPN.
I got everything I need and nothing that I don't.
The ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day preseason special. Live from Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Jesse Nelson, Pablo Iglesias, Adam Mertz, and our producer Riley out back here in the Everlight Solar studio at ESPN Madison. Of course, we're here at the Hard Rock Casino Rockford. The sports book is just to the left as we look out here at from the Hard Rock Cafe main stage where they have us on site of the bars in front of us. We've got all the tables, all the machines everywhere.
Does this make us rock stars now?
Yes. Yes, it does. Where's your sunglasses? Throw them back on.
Oh, throw them back on. I'll do that.
You're going to be a rock star. At least
Might
look
as
the part
well.
here
Yeah,
for our
let's do
fans
it.
watching on YouTube. Mertz, you ever felt as big a rock star as they've made us feel here at Hard Rock Casino Rockford today?
This is pretty special.
You're on the big screen.
We're on the
Look at
big
this
screen.
thing.
I know.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, fantastic. Up
Sunnies
on
are
the
back.
stage. Beautiful facility. This is my first time inside. Blown away. You know how you go to some casinos and they're a little bit drab or a little bit dated or whatnot. This is like a new construction. Everything's gleaming. It's bright, light, very attractive. Tons of great, helpful staff around. Love this place.
They've been open a little more than a year. Come check it out if you haven't yet. Just a short drive, less than an hour from anywhere in the greater Madison area to come down, just like we did this morning, to Hard Rock Casino Rockford. And I did check out the sports book before the show, and I'm certainly going to check out the sports book after the show with the Coors Light in hand as we look at some Big Ten bets for the coming season. One of our big talking points, and I'll ask Riley for his opinion on these as well. Of course, we've talked about 5.5 wins, over-under win total for the Badgers this season. Mertzy, lock it in now. This is your official prediction for the season. More or less, over or under 5.5 wins for the Badgers.
So I'm not gonna go as high as Riley, but I'm gonna go the over. I do think they get to 6 this year. Room for maybe 7, and if you went really crazy, 8. But I like them getting over the hump this year on the 6 side.
Okay, so Mertzy's taking the over. Pablo?
Yes. I am going over as well.
Pablo.
Yes.
Good luck.
Yeah, I'm going over on this one. I think 7 wins is very much doable. Wisconsin needs to steal a win, but I'm very high on the marquee win happening this season. I'm going to go over on that, and I'm going to say 7.
Riley?
Well, I mean, I'm taking the over, but it's funny you bring this up because I've actually already put down money on this particular bet. I've got $50 on over 5.5, which again is a lock, and then I also have $50 on over 8.5. The Badgers getting to 9 wins.
You gotta be kidding.
What's the payoff?
The payout I think is $700.
They're gonna give them the hard rock. They get to 9 wins.
So I have
your own
50,
suite and everything.
I put $50 American on the Badgers hitting 9 wins, 100 total, over 6.5. So
Thank you for clarifying the currency as well.
locking it in.
Riley, you work hard for your money to just throw it like that to the wind.
This
Like,
is
just
the
donate it to me next time.
The 9 wins. A little ridiculous, but the
a little.
the 6 wins is free money. So
you're saying there's
just saying
chance.
it's a smart bet.
To those who think so, perhaps. All right, well.
Rain on the parade, Jesse. Rain on the parade.
The line as of this morning for Wisconsin, Miami, Ohio, Week 1 Thursday night.
Don't we get to hear yours?
Oh, I'm taking less. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
That's
not
what I
taking the under.
Yeah.
I think they get to 5-7 again this year. I think they win the games they're supposed to win. I do think things don't go their way in the close ones. I'm hopeful that they will win.
You think they go 0-6 against the ranked teams that they're
I
facing
do.
this season?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't see.
Confidently,
I
you
look
believe
at them right
0-6.
now, and I see they all look better than Indiana's the one. That if they're going to win one, Indiana on the road, if they're not as good as last year, that's the one that I feel good about. But otherwise, I think all the other teams are a tier above Wisconsin, and maybe multiple tiers, depending on who some of them are that we're talking about. So road games are tough. Michigan, it might be the one that it comes down to for me. If they can steal one in Michigan, that would be the game that could get them to 6 wins. But as of now, I'm going to bet the under. I'm going to say 5-7.
Let a naysayer know.
Yes, thank you, Reese Davis and Riley. Yeah. 17.5 is the line on the opening night game for the Badgers hosting Miami, Ohio at Camp Randall Stadium Thursday night. Mertz, you like the Badgers to cover 17.5 on Thursday night? They struggled against Western Michigan a year ago.
And they have not come out and rolled someone for a few years now. So I'm actually going to take the under on this one. A lot of new pieces trying to come together. A pretty decent Miami of Ohio team. So I'm going to take the under.
It has been, this will be the third year in a row opening up against a MAC opponent at Camp Randall. It was Buffalo in Luke Fickell's debut game, which they were slow out of the gates, ultimately did cover.
Yep.
Obviously, we know what happened with Western Michigan under the lights last year. Pablo?
I was originally on the over train. I'm fading a little bit under, but I think it's a close one. I think they come close to covering, but the more I think about it, as optimistic as I am with Jeff Grimes coming in and adopting this newer offense, even though it's old school Wisconsin to an extent, I think there are some kinks that you need to work out, and not everything's going to run flawlessly. I do feel like, here's what I want to see real quick. I want to see dominance from Wisconsin, and dominance doesn't necessarily mean that you just hammer the over. I want to see dominance across the board. That could be controlling time of possession. That could be creating those negative plays. That could be going run heavy first. So it's more of the performance for me. That's why I feel like, it's going to be close, but I'm going under here. But, yeah, again, it's I just want to see dominance more so as the point factor.
Riley?
I'm once again taking the over, but not
hammer the over if you're Riley out.
This is not nearly as confident as my over 6 wins. Miami of Ohio was the runner-up in the MAC last year. This is a good squad. I think they can win a 35-14 game, win by 21 still. But Miami of Ohio is good, and you have a new system at offense. I think it's going to be tough in the first quarter or two, but then they pull away in the second half.
I think they're going to win the game by 17 points. So I'm going to say that they do not cover the spread. I think 17 is the line that I think Wisconsin's going to win this game by. I think it like a 30-13, maybe a 27-10 kind of battle. I'm hopeful the defense is going to show up, and I just offensively they've been slow out of the gates the last couple of years, and I don't know if they have enough in them this year, the style that they're going to play, to really blow a team out, especially a quality opponent from the MAC like Miami, Ohio is expected to be.
It's just like what you said too. It's like, how do you feel after these games? How do you feel after this too? Yes, you want to see them, and I've said this too. I do want to see bully ball. I want to see Wisconsin again be dominant, but also how are we feeling after this game? Even if it ends up like how the Buffalo game was, it was 38-17, I believe, and they ended up running away in the second half. But even like last season too, it just felt sus going into the locker room. So can Wisconsin be dominant, and how are you feeling? Like you said, Jesse, after those games, I think that just also plays an important factor.
Last one, a futures bet for the season. This is not a Badgers bet. This is a Big Ten bet. So there are 4 teams listed on the main at the top of the list for best odds to win the national championship this year. So I'm going to give you these 4. Mertz, you got to pick one if we're going to put a show wager on. Which one would you want to put your money on here? Ohio State plus 425. That's the best, along with Texas, to win the national championship. Penn State plus 700, which again, these mean you bet 100 to win 700. You bet 100 to win 425. So Penn State's plus 700. Oregon is plus 750 to win the national title. And then Michigan plus 2,500 to win the national championship. So if you want to take a little more of a long shot, you look at the Wolverines. Those are your top 4 Big Ten teams to win the national title. Which one do you want to go with?
So, think about how close Penn State got last year, and you've got another year back with Drew Aller. I guess I would lean toward Penn State. I think that Ohio State, obviously, they're bringing a bunch of talent every year, but they loaded up, as we all know, for last year's run.
They lost money on the team that won the national championship.
Correct. But I still think that was a very good investment. I'm going to go with Penn State. I don't trust James Franklin to win a national title, so I say that with incredible reservations. But I think they're best poised to make that jump.
Pablo?
I'm going Penn State as well. If anything, it sounds like, especially from the national pundits too, they feel like the team in the Big Ten that has the least amount of question marks. Whereas Ohio State, and when I call this a quote reset year for Ohio State, they'll still be in the college football playoff, but you got to look at the quarterback that they're bringing in here too. He's a younger guy. He's a transfer coming in, and you do have a little bit of that drop off. You bring back Jeremiah Smith, so I think it's still going to be an exciting Ohio State team. But from an Ohio State standpoint, it's a mini reset. And I feel like Penn State just comes back stronger. And, I feel like if there's anybody I'm picking, I'm going with the Nittany Lions.
Riley, any suggestions where we put our money?
Yeah, if you're not going Penn State, which I think is the smartest money here, Ohio State, Oregon, and Michigan all replacing their starting quarterbacks, I'd take a flyer on Michigan. Bryce Underwood has apparently looked really good in camp. They still have some national championship DNA from a couple of years ago, and they still haven't been hit with the sanctions yet. Like, all that money they're losing hasn't hurt them yet. So why not throw some money on the Wolverines? I really don't believe in any of these 4 teams to win a natty this year, so take the long shot. Go Michigan.
No offense, Riley, but I don't know if I can trust your wagering influence.
I don't.
You said you bet on the Badgers this year.
The Wisconsin over 6 wins, or 6 wins plus, and the 8 wins plus. Those are the first sports bets I have ever made. I don't sports bet at all, so I am not soliciting advice. The Badgers one is a lock, but
yeah,
Michigan, take a flyer.
I've got a bold bet here too.
Oh, what you got?
I'm under the belief that we have a 1,000-yard rusher for the first time in a couple seasons. And Braylon Allen was the last one to do it, and I'm high on Dylan Jones right now, mainly because of the type of player that he is in this backfield. I think I'm confident in him. It will be a running back by committee, and honestly, that's when Wisconsin's at its best. Mm-hmm. But based off of the buzz that we're hearing already, it feels like Dylan Jones is going to be the main guy, and he is that type of Wisconsin running back when I think of downhill runner, strong, he's young, and there just seems to be that confidence as well. I'm high on Darian Dupree, though, too, as a slippery guy. He's got good hands, and also Cade Yakimelli being a good leader. But, man, if I could pick somebody who's going to really run the table in terms of that running back room, I'm going Dylan Jones with 1,000 yards.
I like that. Thank you for the extra insight there, Pablo. We might go see if they have that here.
Yeah, slap it on. Put it on.
With the show. Mertzy, any final suggestions here on the wagers?
My bet, if I was going to play something, this is a wide open college football field in terms of the playoff this year. It's very unpredictable. I know a lot of attention on Texas in particular, and Ohio State is coming back as defending national champ. I'm curious about Clemson this year. Dabo took his hits last year and did not go to the portal yet again, and really built that team up. Cade Klubnik coming back, a lot of really skilled veterans. You look at the freaks list that comes out of Athletic, they're loaded, they're all over the place, and they play in the ACC. So, like, talking about a path to that high seed that'll get you in a good position. I'm not saying they're the best team. I just like that bet.
And they were a playoff team last year.
Correct.
People may forget that. I like Oregon, by the way, in our Big Ten bets. If we're going to take one to win a national championship, Dan Lanning's a fantastic coach. Yeah, they're replacing their quarterback, but it's Oregon. They always have another one ready to go. And last year, they were the #1 team, and outside of the Wisconsin game, they pretty strolled through their regular season schedule.
Well, psychological warfare that ended up winning them, where he just played jump around the entire week of practice. And if anything, that's next-level coaching.
But so I think the way they're going to restructure the playoff this year, they won't run into a buzzsaw early. So I feel good. Like, if Oregon's a top-ranked team, they could be in that Final Four again and give a legitimate chance to make a push.
Don't you think that game, though, illustrated the talent gap between Oregon and an SEC team or an Ohio State, a top-level SEC team?
To me, it showed more about NIL and that impact that it has on it. Like, the way Ohio State had their players ready to go for
Oregon
that
has
game.
more money than anyone. They have more money than God. Phil Knight funding things.
So
I thought that showed more about momentum of winning a quarterfinal playoff game than anything else, because they played earlier in the season and the game was decided by 1 point.
And I think Oregon, the way that they're going to learn from that, and Dan Lanning will learn from that experience last year, going to the Rose Bowl and getting beat handedly the way that they did. Yeah. So I think that's the last memory that program has from a year ago, and what should have been a national title run ended up not even reaching the semifinals. I think that's going to be a rallying point for a lot of the returning players from last year, and for the head coach having his eye on the prize this season. So I like Oregon.
We'll see how it plays out.
I like Oregon this year if we're going to pick a Big Ten team to make a run.
Ducks fly together.
I'm still not used to Oregon in the Big Ten. I know it's been a year. I can't do it yet. It's so weird. ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day is brewed by Coors Light, our preseason special live from Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Our final thoughts as we get set for Game 1 under the lights Thursday night. Coming up on the other side, stick around. It's ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day, brewed by Coors Light.
The countdown to kickoff continues next. You're listening to ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day.
If you're looking for a special piece of jewelry for any occasion, Condon Jewelers is always there for you. Condon Jewelers has the best selection of jewelry you'll ever find and guaranteed to have the lowest prices in the Madison area. Free shipping is always available. Visit CondonJeweler.com or call 241-3406 and ask for Jim, the owner, who's at the store every day. Shop locally. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
From the biggest stars to the greatest moments, Behind the Bucks is Bucks history like you've never heard it before. It's all on Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the new ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
All day, every day, the Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you. 844-770-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more.
Greg Scalzo here for Buck and Honey's. This summer, soak up the sun and savor the flavor at Buck and Honey's. Their spacious patios are the ideal spot to enjoy award-winning dishes, craft cocktails, in an unbeatable atmosphere. Perfect for a casual lunch or a night out with friends. Plus, with fresh seasonal dishes and exceptional service, they're here to make every visit special. Visit their locations in Sun Prairie, Monona, Wanakee, or Mount Horeb. Celebrate summer the right way, on the patio with great company. I'll see you at Buck and Honey's.
The sound of summer is on ESPN Madison.
And a swing and a miss. Would you like fries with that?
Madison's home of the Brewers.
Fly ball to deep right. Out of here!
Catch every Milwaukee Brewers game this season on 100.5 ESPN.
Here's the throw from Perkins. It is going to be in time!
Brewers baseball on ESPN Madison is presented by Hard Rock Casino Rockford and brought to you by Starion Bank and Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
Bringing summer gatherings to the next level is just another thing we do at Celebrations Entertainment. Hi, it's Jeffrey. With rental items like sound equipment, photo booths, and even yard games, you can make your event the party that everyone talks about. Any event like graduation parties, block parties, or even a backyard barbecue can be elevated with fun, interactive items to make everyone ask, hey, how'd you pull this off? Just tell them celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Grassland Butter is built by tradition right here in Wisconsin. Grassland is family owned and has been crafting butter for 5 generations. That's why at Grassland Butter, you're more than just an employee, you're family. The Wietrich family believes in supporting each other, growing together, and building a workplace where everyone feels valued. Your voice matters at Grassland Dairy. Your success is our success. Join a team where culture isn't just a buzzword, it's how we live every day. Check us out online at grassland.com. That's grassland.com.
This is our crew.
Flair, shallow center. Here's the throw from Perkins. It is going to be in time! Blake Perkins says goodnight.
Madison's home for Milwaukee Brewers baseball. 100.5 ESPN.
ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day preseason special live from Hard Rock Casino Rockford comes to a close. Jesse Nelson, Pablo Iglesias, Adam Mertz, and our producer Riley out back in the Everlight Solar Studio at ESPN Madison. Guys, Miami, Ohio, Wisconsin, Thursday night opens up our season in actual week 1 as opposed to week 0 with all the fun going on today around college football. Mertzy, what's the one thing you want to see from Wisconsin on Thursday night?
So I was trying to go a little bit non-obvious on this one, and it goes back to the stat that you produced earlier on this show. How about, more than one TFL?
That'd be nice.
And I say this in all honesty. When we went into last year, my biggest area of concern was the defensive line. You had James Thompson go down, and he was the one guy I thought that you could trust as maybe a difference maker along there. I'm shocked that they held up as well as they did for as long as they did last year, given the players that they had in that position. They brought in 5-6 guys that are 300 pounds or in that range to really beef things up. How do they perform? How do they perform together? How do they perform in this defense? That's what I'm curious about.
Pablo?
I need it to be all gas, no brakes. I know people are saying it could be a slow burn, but I want to see all gas, no brakes, and it comes back to the dominance factor. It comes back to, as Mertzy said, heck, why not just one TFL? Multiple would be phenomenal, but dominance is what I'm looking for. Establish that run early, get out in front. Heck, maybe they do cover. Maybe they do cover early, but I just want to see that dominance, man. That's what I'm looking forward to the most.
Riley?
I want to see the offensive line dominate. The new Jeff Grimes offense is predicated on the run, predicated on the offensive line, and I want to see him destroy a MAC defensive line. If that happens, I think they'll cruise, and we'll all be very happy after Thursday night.
And for me, whether it's Dupree, Iacomelli, or most likely Dylan Jones, I want to have a signature Wisconsin running back breakthrough performance in the opener.
And wouldn't
Jonathan
that be nice?
Taylor, Western Kentucky, a few years back. Braylon Allen had a great game in his debut. I want to see that from one of those running backs, most likely Dylan Jones. But if we're going to get back to ground and pound, this offensive line is going to dominate. Let's go for a $150, 200 on the ground. Let's have a huge touchdown run that lights up Camp Randall Stadium and creates that electric atmosphere and the good vibes early in the season. We didn't have big plays last year. I want to see a big play and a big performance from one of those running backs here on opening night. We'll talk more about it on Thursday.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
do it.
Big plays. That's what we need to see from Wisconsin in this offense. Heck, even on the defensive side, too.
Yep.
Defensive line's going to look sharp, so we'll see how they look.
This has been our preseason special on ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day, brewed by Coors Light. Again, before every Badger football game this season, you can catch us right here on 100.5 ESPN and on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. There will be times this year where there might be a Brewers game, a Bucks game, a Badger volleyball game. We will always be on right immediately before and after every game on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel and our digital platform. So you can always find us before and after every game, even if there are some other things going on the radio. So we will have our predictions, our last-minute analysis getting set for each kickoff, and then immediate post-game reaction to follow each game all season long. Special thanks to Riley Auk, our producer back in the Everlight Solar Studio and host of the post-game show this year, along with Corey Sparks, Adam Mertz, Pablo Iglesias, and everyone here at Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Thank you for the hospitality. We hope we provided some fun and entertainment on your Saturday morning. College football, week 0 today, week 1 this week. Can't wait. Thanks for coming along today. This has been the ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day preseason special.
The GRB Academy is baseball for the serious player. GRB Academy wants to be part of your plan to reach your potential. Utilize GRB Academy's 52,000 square foot facility, 14 batting cages, and 6,000 square foot weight room. Personal lessons at the GRB Baseball Academy are available year round. With over 300 college players and over